This is Justin AMZN on March 15th, 2018, Thursday. And looking at the daily chart, we had another sideways move, another sideways candle, a little bit of a pullback, and a tiny little bounce off of the 5 exponential moving average on the daily. We zoom in on the 5-minute chart, and this played out very, very close to how we left the last video, saying that a retest up into 1600 would be a great place for this this triangle to retest. We actually had a small gap up in the morning and started to buy and just came right back down very quickly and pretty much put in the low of the day at 1578.11. We retested that low and actually bounced off of 1578.24 late in the day. Actually, not too late in the day, afternoon time. But these prices were actually the low of this triangle, and this kind of a move from close to 1600 or anywhere in this area down to anywhere in this area would have been a great place to actually have sold the stock or gotten into some puts. Let's see if I can show. No, it doesn't want to show the one day with yesterday's. I'm trying to show yesterday, a little bit of yesterday. I guess I have to change that in my time. 2 days maybe. There we go. Okay. Now let's see if we can zoom. So this is the 1 minute, and you can see that this was a very quick candle. If you were watching a 1 minute, I'm rarely watching a 1 minute. So just doing a recap on what this move was. This candle retesting back to the highs from the breakdown. So you could have drawn in something like that, shorted off of that level right there. Looking for a move down at least to here, which you got in that 5-minute candle, and then down to the bottom of the triangle, which is off the screen now, down into the 1580, 1578 range here. So let's come back up to the 5-minute, and what happened there? 5-minute. Now something's acting funny. It's not going all the way over to the right. All right, anyway. So looking at the last couple days, looking at today, this is just, I guess, just a very easy chart to say this retested this breakdown, and just dropped. It bounced, put in kind of a double bottom here, or you could draw it as somewhat of a consolidation into a couple high wave candles, and from this candle, which you would have wanted to see some more of a breakdown of these buying wicks, didn't have that. Instead, you broke bullish from that candle. This move right here, this close on the 5-minute higher than the high wave could have been a place to buy. Then you had a move that actually got above these two candles and touched back into the 21 exponential, came back down, a retest of that level, and then moved up a little bit higher. I was actually looking for a move a little bit higher, back up into 1592, to come back into the old support to retest as new resistance, and it's possible that could happen tomorrow. So that's still a price range, a price area to look in here. But what a phenomenal candle formed right here. So this price being slightly lower than the lows of yesterday, but just looking at today, so looking at this and see Sorry, let me go one more candle back. Seeing this, such a small candle after this kind of a move up into definitely some sort of retesting of this candle, retesting really close to this level. Again, if it had come up a little bit higher, 1592 is where I was looking for it to retest some of these lows. It came into, let's see, this one was 1591. The high in this candle was 1590.60. Just didn't get as high as I wanted. Like another $2 is what I was looking for it to move. Didn't do that. But this is something you could have traded. Okay, stop here, trigger down here to short it or to buy some puts right there. And what you got was a nice little rollover. It actually formed an evening star reversal, paused, went sideways, and then broke with the break lower of this candle here, broke on this candle. Actually, I had a close below with this candle, and this one, it looked like it could just continue to roll over. Now in the squeeze, we had a squeeze form with positive momentum instead of a rollover momentum. So, you know, if this was going to play out with positive, you would have expected this to be a double bottom, a retest, and a bounce, and that just didn't happen. What happened was it came down, made another smaller double bottom, did not trigger bullish, just went sideways. This is half an hour of very little price movement right in here, 6 5-minute candles, then a move lower here. Think of this, you know, partially through this candle, this sell-off, breaking this low, coming down into these lows, and within that same 5-minute candle, a bounce. And I must have missed that candle, because that would have been a candle that you could have thought, okay, I'm going to set a stop here and a trigger here or a trigger here and get in on the move lower. And it just wouldn't have worked. It would have immediately bounced. Had you been watching it and seen that candle form after you had gotten in, maybe you would have tightened up your stop and lost smaller than an R, or you would have probably been stopped out on any of these candles here, unless you were much more reserved with your stop and had it somewhere up here on the left, somewhat of a pivot, or I mean, even with this one, it would have been stopped out. Anyway, so it continued to move sideways for a lot longer. So then looking at this whole area here as just very little movement. Now we've got the exponential above, the 21 exponential above the price through here, and you've got the 5-minute, 5-period exponential breaking through it and below. And I was actually watching in this area, actually back in here is where I actually got in bearish, saw these candles, this candle breaking, waited for that to close, got in on this candle bearish, and then it went sideways for another 20 minutes. And then this very quick drop here, the squeeze triggered. It looked like it could pause. You know, once it came down here, I was looking for it to pause, go sideways, and go a little lower. It did actually come down to the same low, almost to the penny. I mean, on this price stock, we were 13 cents away between these two lows. That would have been a great place to have a target. I had a 4-hour target, not a 3-hour target. A 3-hour target, probably if it had filled, the options price did get down there. But I can't say for sure I would have been filled at 3R. So I was looking for that to move quickly like it did from this candle. And as I said, so this candle, it actually broke down below some of these lows here and was breaking through the 21 exponential, then went sideways, retesting, and rolled over again. Rolled over the first time. I mean, it broke and then retested, then rolled over. And I should have taken profits down here. I ended up holding through this, and I think I exited right in here. When this candle formed, I said, okay, I want to see a lower low in the next in the next 10 minutes, I believe, let's see. No, I think it was in this candle, the next 10 minutes. So I was telling myself by 1:45, I wanted to see a lower low. I put in that lower low and was expecting it to move lower. It made this candle, and I decided, that's enough for me. I'm going to get out. I think I got out on this candle because I just wanted to lock in my profits. It made another low on a relative low on the day, and with the way these wicks were, things were coming down. I had to run off to a meeting, but then I was taking a look at it shortly thereafter and saw that it bounced again, and I actually got out on the next lowest candle from this one, on this candle here. So I left some money on the table with how this moved so quickly and then didn't give me another rollover. With this squeeze that had triggered, I was expecting this to roll over or to just fall much more bearish, but this price, this 1578 price, became a very strong support in this area, and it's something that it could bounce off of that again tomorrow. The rest of the day was just kind of choppy, moving around, squeeze forming, more people buying, more people selling, and then buying into the close. And so let's zoom back out. Actually, no, we'll stay zoomed in here, and I'm going to switch over to the puts. So I was looking at the 1575 put, and what helped me decide on that put actually was looking at where the price was in this area. The lows through here. So the low right here, not that candle. Let's see. The low here was 385. The low here was 350. The low here was 360. The option lost so much premium through the day that as the stock actually made it from this price to this price to this price, sort of a line here, or more of like a curve to catch that. The premium was just pouring out of this thing. By Friday, tomorrow, these options that are out of the money need to lose all their value, and so that's the opportune time to have a quick move like this, where it has to build value back in as it moves closer to the strike price. And this was still $3 out of the money. I was really hoping it was going to get into the money. I had so back to where I got in. I got in on this candle. I believe I got in at 425, so not a great fill, but got in at 425 with a stop down at 325 below the prices that I put in earlier. And then it retested or put in this flag here, and then it rolled over. When this candle formed and then this one, I'm like, okay, it's got to go. It's got to go now. And it did. It went very quickly. And this is where I should have. So I was looking for a price of 850 back up to the highs in here. It actually probably estimated high. Yeah, so it didn't even get to 850. So I should have had my target lower, maybe 8, maybe 750, where there's a bit of a gap here in the option. Let's see, the high on this was 720. So just looking at this now, definitely should not have had such a high target. Should have been just looking for 2R or 3R on a move, back up from 425 to 625 or 725. That would have been up into this area, and it would have most likely filled on such a quick move and then a bounce here. But that's not what I did. So got to see it come back down. I was up about an R all through here, and putting some updates in place for how I was going to handle this move. It looked like it was going to roll over. Like I said, then that candle formed and the price was up a little bit higher, but it just was kind of choppy. So I ended up getting out about 555, I think was my fill on, I think, one of these candles here. Let's see, this one maybe? I think I was the low getting out, 555. It's not, let's see, it was on this candle, so, or maybe it was the next one. It may have been on that candle as it was forming, and then it just made the the bounce a little bit after I had gotten out, because I think it was right at 1:55 Central Time. But what's interesting is then it forming another squeeze after that. Did slightly roll down, but maybe could have gotten out a little bit higher, 570 there, had it sold there. But anyway, this would have been the move to have taken in the profit on right here, not waiting for it to come back down. So I've learned from that on such a quick move, when you're up so quickly, just to lock it in, especially when there's a known support here on the day, and there's a known support there from 2 days back, this level here on a triangle, so had I drawn this in this line of support here all the way through here into here, that should have been my target. So I learned something to do a little better the next time. I've got the 1600 call on here, and you can see how the premium poured out of that as it moved down away from that so quickly. Even if you had been trying to get in anywhere in here, the option just kind of chopped sideways. I mean, maybe you could have gotten in at 350, 375, gotten out. Had you gotten out right on that candle would have been up here. Maybe you got out at 475. Maybe you got in at 375, got out at 475, made $1, made an R, if that was your risk. So maybe you wouldn't have gotten in on that option. Let's see if we can take a look at the 1590 call to see if that would have gotten any closer, because we did actually touch the 1590 price. So anywhere through here, let's see where we're at. So this candle, and then bought in on this one. That candle would have been buying in, let's call it the high 690, with a stop maybe down at 6 or 590, and the low here is 615. So hopefully would have stayed in. And then if you got in at 690, the high here, actually if you had gotten out on this candle, the low there was 851. Maybe you got out at 890. Maybe that was a 2-hour trade, from getting in here and getting out here over about 30 minutes. Actually, yeah. If you got in here 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 to 35 minutes with the move up. And again, I would have been looking for a slightly higher bounce, but once that candle came in, maybe gotten out. Maybe you actually got out on this candle instead, and that would have, maybe you would have made an hour and a half on that. Just depends on if you're watching it, if you were to adjust to what the chart was doing, which is always what we need to do. So there were some key moves, some key prices. It seems that there's been just a lot of places where Amazon consolidates into a small doji and then makes a move. Because this was so close to the support, I was actually looking to, with this candle, that this would actually bounce, and that would give me my price that I wanted to have a rollover. And I just wasn't thinking about buying for that kind of move. I was looking for, okay, we'll just wait for it to come back up here to short it, and missed out on both. Missed out on a move up, missed out on a move down. So this would have been a place you could have gotten, maybe 2R, maybe 1.5R on that move. As I said before, had you been watching, or had you been planning that, okay, we'll just buy as it opens, and been able to put in an order, even to buy at even to buy at $4 or $5 on the option with a stop down at 3. So had you done, a $4 buy with a $3 stop, way up here, you would have made, let's get up to, let's call a solid 9. Open was at 9 on that one. So let's see, you got in at 4, got out at 9. That's 5R in 15 minutes? Not even 15 minutes? Something like that. And then had you gotten in again at 4 with a stop at 3 and taken a little bit of profit here, gotten out when it got a little choppy, and that would have been a move from $4 up to, maybe $5.50, maybe even $5. So that's $1. So you made 5 are there, let's say, 1 are here, 3 are here. There were definitely some opportunities to make some money on what we anticipated being a bearish move today with breaking down of that triangle. And so for tomorrow, again, coming back up and retesting in this area, there's a bit more of a, let me zoom in on this now, it's a bit more of a channel in here. So if you look at, even if we come back here, so you have the prices here, which were similar here. You had the wick up into it here. So anywhere in here where you're at 1600, that's a nice round number. Come up to 1600 and come down to the 1580. If Amazon were to do that tomorrow, come up to 1600, roll back down to 1580, that's what I'll be watching to take some trades on. Both the bullish and the bearish move just depends on how we move out of the close today. There's another kind of triangle formed in here. It's harder to see, but there's, you can draw something like this on the top and then maybe just a flat bottom. So it's possible that it consolidates a little bit more. And again, all of this has been looking at the chart without the extended hours. It just made more sense to draw that triangle. So when I was watching the stock, I was turning on and off the highlighted extended hours so that I could see what it was doing in relation to the prices here. But I was very happy to come away with a small gain today on Amazon and catching a move that I planned yesterday and anticipated what I was going to do with what the stock, reacting what the stock was setting up. So hope you like this, and we'll look forward to continuing to make some money on Amazon and figure out how to track this thing and chart it and guess at what's going to happen with educated guessing with the technical analysis. So hope you enjoyed the video. This was Justin at Amazon.